Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Linfield Coaches CatChat. Joe Stewart here with head Linfield football coach Joseph Smith. Week after the Northwest Conference regular season wrapped up with the Cats back as Northwest Conference champions. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well, thanks.
And I'm sure you are. Obviously, it was a great day up in Spokane on Saturday as you guys beat Whitworth 34-7 to reclaim the Northwest Conference title and punch the automatic qualifying bid to the playoffs. Obviously, after the way last year ended, conference championships are certainly the standard around here, but have to imagine that this one felt a little bit different for this year's group.
It did. It's been a long year since we lost it on that last drive. So certainly our guys had been thinking about that for a calendar year, and every time we lifted, and I look at it every day. So. Something that certainly we wanted to right. I think we still feel like there's some missed opportunity from last year, and we didn't want to let that happen again. And I was really proud of the guys. They prepared well and played very well.
Whitworth comes out and scores on the opening drive, but from there, 34 unanswered points by your guys and really dominated for 55 minutes of that game. Just what would you like about the team's ability to come out and do what they did throughout the course of that game? And, we thought that was going to be a pretty even matchup going into the game, and it was pretty clear who head and shoulders the better team was on Saturday.
No, that was a good football team. I felt like, I really did feel like we had some advantages and just in terms of who we'd played and maybe our physicality level. But that was a very good football team, and we knew they'd play well. We're at their place, a hostile environment, et cetera. And then they had a very experienced quarterback. So I think anytime you have that kind of weaponry on offense and a good quarterback to deliver the football, it's very dangerous. So I would argue probably the most explosive offense that we'd seen all year for sure. So I was very proud of how our guys responded because, gosh, they moved the ball down the field and had some nice plays that they strung together. A lot of times you see that early in a game with teams that script, in terms of that's what they've worked on. Those are the plays that they thought would work in terms of the openers, if you will. And then our guys got that righted well. I thought the ability to answer that score, with our offense was pretty key because that was a little bit of a shock in all reality with how few points our defense has given up this year. Thought that was big. So we got that answer score, and then defense settled in and got things squared away.
Yeah, and obviously, as I mentioned, with everything that was riding on that game, have to imagine that it was hard to treat it like just another great game. I'm sure you as the coaches were trying to find the balance there, right, with that messaging. But what was the energy like pregame, the week leading up to practice, the bus ride up, and then there in those final moments before kickoff?
I think our guys, I didn't know, in terms of I knew they were pretty motivated and didn't have to say much. There's really nothing to say. It's time to go do it now. So having been waiting for that game for a year, I think our team was psychologically ready to play probably 3 weeks before we played them. So I was a little more nervous the games prior to that one than I really was this game. I knew our guys would come out and play well.
Blakeen obviously missed this matchup last year due to injury, but he came out on Saturday and, the stats weren't necessarily the most eye-popping. Did have the 2 rushing touchdowns, but watching that game, it felt like one of the best games of his career. What did you like out of what he brought on Saturday, and what was it like watching him really rise up to meet the moment in that game?
I think you hit it on the head, the mastery of our offense and just being able to understand what Whitworth was doing and deliver the ball where it needed to go at the right time. That's just such a difficult skill, and everybody wants that in their quarterback. Few teams really do have that. We do enjoy that. Blake's a tremendous quarterback. He's got a lot of repetitions now, a lot of experience under his belt, and as far as I know, will finish his career never lost, an NCAA a Northwest Conference game as a starter. So it's hard to do that over 3 years, and we missed him last year. We didn't have Bailey or Colby either. So we had quite a few guys playing in this game that had missed last year, and those guys let me know it. And, hey, Coach, I didn't play last year. We're ready to go. So, having Blake, I think, just gives you that continuity of offense as a consistent attack. And, every time we had the ball, I thought we were going to go score. So that's a good feeling to have as a coach.
Defensively, we've kind of been hyping this group up all year, and deservedly so. They shut down a great offense in Whitworth after that opening drive. What made them so effective on Saturday, and their ability to match up against a top offense like that? And does it feel like that group is kind of peaking at the right time as we gear up for the postseason here?
I feel like they are. They've been very sound all year long, and really by mid-season you could really sense these guys are locked in, and I think that's mostly because we're winning the battle up front. You know, the D line is quite formidable, and those linebackers are really physical and experienced too. So that front seven's tough, and then now as that back row has really gotten better and gelled with one another, it's a tough defense to score on. They're not giving up big plays, and they're constantly keeping you behind the chains. And if you can do that on defense, I don't care what level you're at, you're going to be successful. Can we keep doing that as we move forward? I don't know. They're going to get tested. We're going to see more offensive firepower than we've seen, in the regular season, in my opinion. I think as we head forward, teams are going to get bigger, stronger, faster. That edge up front's going to be negated and suddenly become an equal, and then we'll really see how we're tested. And that back row will get tested much more as they're not just winning it at ease up front.
Special teams is a group that, has kind of gone under the radar a little bit this year, which is kind of what you want out of your special teams group, because when they're under the radar, it usually means they're doing their job pretty well. Obviously, you've got some game breakers in there with a guy like McLean Stone King on returns, and two guys that are playing at All-American level in the kicking game in Thomas Tabor and Gavin Dalziel right now. Coverage has looked really strong, and execution across the board for pretty much most of the year has been really good. How key has that group been to this year's success, and how key is it to have them all on the same page and performing their duties well at this point of the year?
Well, when the scores are 40 to 7, they're not overly critical, but as the games become much more tight, the special teams becomes huge, because the starting field position is such a large indicator of an offensive successful drive or not. And so as we get better and better field position, throughout a tight game, that increases your odds. So it's critical, is what I'm trying to say. It's been strong. I think it's gone under the radar because we've had so much explosiveness on O&D, but our net punting is at an all-time high. Our net kickoff coverage is at an all-time high. Our net punt return is shockingly low, or I should say team's net punt against us is shockingly low. Our goal is kind of to win 10 yards in each phase, and we've been doing that. The kickoff coverage, Coach Fennell's done a great job with. That was actually a weakness of ours last year. Every time we kicked off, we were holding our breath, in terms of just getting the ball down the field, but that's been outstanding. Mr. Odell's done great in terms of kickoffs and so many nice touchbacks. Those are just things that will be huge for us moving forward in the playoffs.
So let's look ahead to the playoffs here. The Texas Lutheran Bulldogs will be coming in on the 30th at 8-2. You guys are getting the bye week with this new expanded playoff format, 40 teams, and the most of them are getting this first weekend off. How do things feel different this time of year? How do things feel different with the bye week as you guys try to both get healthy but also stay fresh and locked in over this longer stretch than you're used to in preparation?
The last time we've had a bye was 20 years ago, in terms of back in those early 2000s, we got a couple of these and different format, and only 4 teams got the bye, so you still didn't know who you were playing. This is the first time we've ever had a bye and known who we were playing. It's very unusual, so very uncharted water for us. What are we trying to do? I think what's so different is we're just trying to get healthy. I think every team's so beat up this time of year, just trying to get that soft tissue healed, which coach is powerless against. So our athletic training staff's been working hard, and we're really trying to get as many guys up to full speed again as we can as we head into this grueling, however long it is, right? And it's only going to get worse. The impacts will be greater. The bodies hitting you are going to be bigger. Therefore, the force is greater. Therefore, the more injury rate, higher injury rates are going to come. So our depth will be tested. So that's what we're trying to develop. It's trying to get back to some fundamentals, try to get healthy at the same time, and then at the same time starting to look hard at TLU and get prepared for them. Yeah,
the Bulldogs coming in 8-2. Last year just 2-8. This was a huge turnaround season for them. Really impressive story. Seems like a physical team, run-heavy team, not unlike a couple of the opponents that you faced this season, but obviously have done well enough to receive not just a bid, but they got an at-large bid with their conference not currently holding an AQ. An impressive feat there. Thoughts on the Bulldogs? This is a program that you guys have never matched up against, even back in your playing days, much less in your coaching days. It's been a long time since the Cats and the Bulldogs have met. But what's the thoughts on this kind of unknown team going into the first round here?
Well, as you'd mentioned earlier, I know Coach Rutschman still is upset about this game back when he was coaching as a very young coach, I might add.
Yeah.
A very young coach,
1970s,
very early in his coaching career, and he still talks about the game film exchange and just the ill-prepared state they were in when they played there, because they thought they were getting something and they got something else and got right out of there. So he still considers that as one of his worst games. So hopefully we can even the series up. Would be nice to do that for Coach, but these guys are good. I mean, they're physical, they're fast, they play hard, as you would expect. I mean, they're from Texas, so they're going to be big, strong, fast, and sort of unruly. And so I think it's going to be a great game. I've never been disappointed with Texas. They always bring it. It's going to be a great game.
I'm excited to see it. It's an exciting time here in McMinnville right now as the Wildcats are gearing up for the NCAA Division III playoffs, hosting the Texas Lutheran Bulldogs on November 30th. That game will be 12 o'clock. All D3 playoff games will be at 12 o'clock. They'll also all be streamed on ESPN Plus exclusively for the first time. So that's where you'll catch our broadcast from McMinnville between the Wildcats and the Dogs in the postseason. Coach, thanks for the time and good luck with the prep.
Thank you.